YouTube, what's good? Welcome back to another video. Today we have the internet is finally turning on Jidion. I'm a little late to this video, but I ain't gonna lie, I was seeing this and I was really confused. Like, maybe it's something got to do with EDP or something. Like, I don't really understand. So let's see what this is really talking about, bro. Let's get into it, bro. Let's go.
Came out about YouTuber d.i.f.f.e.r.e.n.t. You would think that he would be who the internet is calling the villain, but the internet is turning their sights onto somebody else that was a part of catching d.i.f.f.e.r.e.n.t and claiming he's actually the biggest villain of them all.
I feel like I was a victim of EDP, but I think I was mainly a victim. This is gonna sound crazy, but mainly a victim of Jidion.
YouTuber Jidion claimed for years that he didn't.
Wait, what? Wasn't she the decoy? No, bro. No, don't tell me. Don't tell me, bro. We already had enough this year, bro. We've already had enough this year, bro. Please.
Know exactly the full story behind the whole d.i.f.f.e.r.e.n.t situation, but he did claim that there was going to be a documentary that would come out that would reveal all and make his name look so much better.
I think the documentary the documentary is gonna tell all.
But now that the documentary is out and claims are being made on his name, even some of his biggest fans and supporters are starting to turn their back on Jidion.
I am a huge fan of Jidion's content. I watch almost every single one of his videos, but after watching the d.i.f.f.e.r.e.n.t documentary and seeing all the details that was released on how he and Skeeter Jean watched the d.i.f.f.e.r.e.n.t situation that they had, and the way that he treated the victim, Kayla Hoskins, it really is starting to make me question if Jidion is really a good person.
And even though Jidion...
Oh, she wasn't a decoy. Wait. She was a decoy or a victim? This was a wow. Hold on, let me keep watching. They might remember me, bro. I think they were trying to catch him. I don't know.
Jidion has come out making a video with receipts proving that everything that Kayla said wasn't 100% factual and that she's actually targeting him. There are still fans that are coming for his head because they're not really questioning Jidion's involvement in the content of it all when it comes to the d.i.f.f.e.r.e.n.t catch. They're asking themselves, has Jidion really changed and banned his old ways as a content creator for the better of him and society? If you're new to this and you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It's going to go a long way. We're like really close to 185. I think we actually might get it today with this upload. You got to be a part of that group that does hit that subscribe button. Now, back into the video. Look, I and other YouTubers have discussed the disgusting nature of the documentary that came out covering d.i.f.f.e.r.e.n.t. Not necessarily because of how d.i.f.f.e.r.e.n.'t actions were, albeit we can all agree that those were disgusting in and of itself, but the nature as to how they went about doing the documentary and the things that we discovered behind closed doors that got...
Okay, now that I see, let me try to remember. It was some app, right? He tried to meet up with her. And okay. Was she a victim or a decoy? Because they were trying to catch him. So is everybody saying that this was planned? Like, they put this on him? I'm so confused, bro. Do I need to watch? I'm not trying to watch that documentary, bro. That shit look disgusting. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not trying to watch that shit.
Them to even catching d.i.f.f.e.r.e.n.t. And this is where Jidion enters the situation. Jidion was a part of one of the first catches, or at least attempts to catch d.i.f.f.e.r.e.n.t in the act of texting underage people. But how he did it was very, and I do mean very, questionable based off of this documentary.
I think I was mainly a victim of Jidion. I feel like I was his puppet because I was just like kind of doing the things he demanded me to do. He encouraged me to keep talking to her.
This is Kayla, the 15-year-old decoy who was actually a 15.
Okay, decoy. I'm so good. Okay, I'm like, what? There's no way she was a like Jidion. Okay, she was a decoy. I knew I was tripping. I knew I wasn't tripping.
In real life that was used in order to catch EDP-445 in an investigation about texting a minor. Now, what most people don't know is you can't do that. You can't use somebody that's actually a 15-year-old, somebody who's actually underage, in order to try to get them, the person that is being involved in this underage act, caught up. You have to use a decoy. Like, that's a pretty common thing in this situation. People started questioning the morals and ethics of the different things that Jidion and Skeeter Jean would do in order to set up EDP-445 before they decided to roll up on him. The documentary,
so it was planned to catch. Okay, thank you. Clear it up.
Raises tons of questions about how Kayla, her mother, the evidence, and the police were all handled by the dynamic YouTube content creation duo, all for the sake of content. Hell, even Skeeter Jean himself even says that they prioritize the content of it all, which would ultimately lead to a non-arrest of EDP-445.
I think there possibly maybe could have been different results in this case if me and Jidion did not confront EDP or take the situation into our hands at all. You know, that way obviously there's no content there, so it's like, eh.
And so while people were watching a documentary about a disgusting human being,
yeah, respect for that, admitting that. They prioritize the context to like the actual what was really going on. So, cause when that hit the news, boy, oh my goodness, that shit was everywhere. All the blogs, it was trending for like I think 3-4 weeks, bro. And, shoot, and Jidion really, Jidion, he kind of hit like a second blow after that, cause it was like he got his ass too. Like it was crazy.
They started to lay down the evidence, lay down the decision making, lay down what brought these two to this point about how they would go about making this content. And it seems as though they found another villain in Jidion in a movie that was supposed to be about a villain, EDP-445. The strangest part about all of this is that it is not just people who consume this documentary that know nothing about Jidion who are bringing his feet to the fire. Some of these people are actually fans. These are the people that actually give him the benefit of the doubt in these different situations, yet they are wanting to have questions be answered about the decision making and the choices that were made about this whole investigation that him and Skeeter Jean had. What really made me want to look into this story is because Jidion actually does come out and respond to all of the allegations that happened, but even in that response, you have a certain subsection of people who are still looking at him as if he is crazy. This tweet from a Twitter user says, one of these children was predictably groomed by EDP, and Jidion, instead of properly stepping in, used her as a decoy. Huge crime to use minors as decoys. So he could dress up in a cupcake costume with Skeeter Jean outside of EDP's dialysis center. Another Twitter user says, I honestly don't know what Jidion thought he was doing when he released his response. Hilariously bad. Jidion's week keeps getting worse. And albeit they
Okay. Should I watch? I might watch that on my own. Like, I don't. Maybe I should have watched that first. But I just know Meezy gonna explain it better. So like, I don't know. This is. At the same time, though, they have been trying to target Jidion for like the last few months, bro. Cause like you go on my channel, bro, like most of my viewed vids were like what, or it was like news about Jidion, whether he was causing commotion, or like he got his fans arrested or something, causing a disturb, like, you know what I'm saying? It's, I don't know. Like he don't even stream no more because he said it just makes him into a bad person. Like, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Do have some credibility there. I don't think that titling a video, I invited a known pred to a Discord server full of minors to see what would happen, is probably.
Yeah, that's kind of a crazy title. And you did, I'm changing that. Oof.
Probably the way that you would go about a response video, but hey, you gotta get the clicks and the views, right? That's what Skeeter said. Where's the content in that? So what exactly does his response say? For what it's worth, Jidion does clear things up, but he doesn't address the bigger question that's being asked in the conversation that is new about Jidion. And what has been a he said, she said so far, Jidion drops a response video titled My Side of the EDP doc, in which he provides receipts, Discord messages, iMessages, police documents, and a bunch of different evidence that does help clear his side. He addresses a lot of the serious, and I do mean serious, allegations and narratives that Kayla, the 15-year-old decoy, has placed on him as to his involvement in the whole EDP capturing situation. He starts it off by clarifying the fact that he did not find a 15-year-old and place that person in front of EDP, which I think is actually very good that he did, because a lot of people were running with that narrative.
The reason why I gladly took the blame for EDP meeting her through my Discord, because at the time, I truly believed that's how he found her, and I wanted to take accountability for my role in this occurring. But as it turns out, Kayla herself in the documentary stated that she had already been messaging EDP before I had even ever added him in my own Discord.
He also clears up the conversation about how the communication went down.
Wait. So see, it's too many loose ties. Like, who initiated conversation? If she was actually a victim, so that's why I was saying, is she a victim or a decoy? Because I don't get it. If she initiated before he knew, how did she become a decoy? Like, oh my gosh, bro, not this again, bro.
And more importantly, who played a role in continuing it and how they did that.
Now, fast forward to when I found out about this whole situation. When I first got on the call with her, I let her know I didn't feel comfortable with her talking with her being underage. So I came up with some clever ideas to where we could switch off and I could take over communication and she wouldn't have to. Here's one of those examples that I gave her. Maybe we could say something like, my parents switched providers and I couldn't get my number, so this is my new one. And then it'd be a number that we could text through. And granted, in that call, she did agree that was a good idea, but she never gave over the communication to me nor Skeeter.
Now, the thing that I would say to Jidion, and this is speaking to his past self, which in later videos he's claimed that he understood and would not do this going forward, is that at that moment, granted, EDP is talking to a 15.
Hold on. Where are the parents involved in all of this? That's probably what's not making. Where are the parents at? Like, why is her mom? I don't like her mom, or like if the president, I don't know, but like some type of guardian should be in the call. Like, this is too serious to just have it be them three. This looks bad. Oh, this looks bad, bro. It should not just be them, unless I'm reaching. I don't know, cause switch out communication. I mean, that's good. My brain hurt. Hold on. Let me just keep it.
But you have to figure out a way to wipe your hands clean with this situation. Clearly, this is a 15-year-old who has some sort of fandom towards you, a fandom towards the community, all these different things, and how they're going about this is ultimately not going to be beneficial for you. So sure, you got the clicks and views in it of it all. EDP was exposed to a YouTube audience, but the moral and ethical questions come into play. And to be honest with you, rightfully so in some regards, but I just would have moved away from her totally and then set up a separate sting option for d.i.f.f.e.r.e.n.t in a way that was done properly, as opposed to continue to play around or use a 15-year-old that is not cooperating with you. Otherwise, we end up in a situation where we're ending up in where there's no actual legal action, and now she is, again, I don't think this is right, calling you out for what you've done. The last two big takeaways from this to me was that Jidion disputes any sort of non-involvement with police. He says that he wanted to get the police involved, tried to get the police involved, got the police involved to some extent, but it just didn't go the way that he thought it would go.
Kayla gave me case numbers and detective numbers to call. I called the detective number and it was disconnected, and it took me like till 3 years later to finally find out what police station she went to and everything. And she really doesn't have all the updates and everything, but luckily, since I deal with police so much, kind of figured it out and figured out where to look. And I can confirm that there is a case number associated with the account, meaning that there wasn't a report made. And also, not only was there a report made, but I confirmed with the police station that this case is currently currently with the FBI. Now, granted, even though it's with the FBI, I don't know if they're still actively investigating it, and I don't know if they'll do anything with all of this, me personally.
Now it's in a situation where he's totally out of the loop as to what's going on, as opposed to being a part of the investigation. But arguably the most damning thing that he needed to clear up, he did when he went out and disputed the claim about him forcing Kayla to be the bait in the whole EDP sting operation. He actually breaks it down about it being her idea to volunteer herself as tribute.
When I realized something was wrong, I spoke to a moderator in Jidion's Discord server. I explained the situation, and soon everyone in the voice call started asking questions. Someone told Insight about what happened, and he ended up joining the voice call as well and asked me if I wanted to be bait.
Do you guys remember that VC call that I had showed you guys earlier? That's the VC call that she's alluding to. And the people in the VC were coming up with ideas to get EDP to come out in person. And then Kayla decided to give herself up as tribute.
Lure him to a hotel,
Right.
yeah. Listen,
to
Insight.
be honest, I don't mind doing it, and I don't think my parents would mind.
Again, 15-year-old girl, I
Okay, so her parents didn't. Wait. What the fuck? Wait, hold on. We haven't heard one parent talk yet. Unless they didn't want to be, I don't know. Cause unless a, yeah, we gonna check our kids' phones when we get older. I ain't gonna lie, cause this is crazy. This is stupid. Like this whole situation. Oh my goodness.
don't expect much. So now that Jidion has said his side with receipts and everything like that, it makes the situation look less black and white. Ultimately, it is a good thing that he had cleared his name of, especially like the decoy allegations and things like that. But a lot of the internet is still raising questions about his involvement, the morals and ethics behind the whole sting operation, and why he would do the things that he did. So you forced a teenage girl to keep interacting with a pred, potentially traumatizing her, so you could get your content, dress up like a cupcake and go viral catching him, and the fat bag of is still free. King stupid.
I ain't gonna lie. He might have fried this shit. He might have fried this shit. Cause he's not lying. Oh shit. Oh, this is bad, bro. This is bad. He's not lying. Cause why is he cause if they actually took this more shit, he would have actually been in jail. Damn.
A cupcake and go viral catching him, and the fat bag of is still free. King stupid. Jidion did this 2 years after Alex Rosen's sting and 3 months before his own sting operation on EDP. Jidion knew what he was doing at the time. This wasn't an accident. After that documentary, no one should even be trying to defend Jidion. Dude's a LARPer. And that's where the criticism becomes bigger than just Kayla. For what it's worth, pred catching is still content. You want the big reveal, you want the allegations, you want the dramatization, you want all of these viral.
Yeah, the thing about like the serious aspect kind of goes out the window because people make money off this. So it's like, well, you're trying to fund, like, I don't, it's pros and cons. Like, it's so hard to like criticize it at the same time respect it, because it's like the motives can. Damn, bro. You're making money off people's safety. Yeah, it's harsh, but like that's kind of what be going on when it comes to this type of thing. I don't know.
Real moments, but what people have to understand is that's different than an investigation, and it's quite clear that based off of the actions, that's exactly what Jidion.
And then when you don't bring it to the police and you just do it for the content, that's when it kind of gets, you know. that's when it kind of becomes like, I mean, I might be hypocritical reacting to the video right now, but like, those people actually doing the operation, it's like, I'm saying, it makes for good it makes for good content, it's not a third, but like, the serious aspect, it kind of blows it out the window.
On it. Less of an actual investigation, but more of a viral moment. Remember, Skeeter Jean even acknowledged that, you know, there wasn't any content if we didn't get involved, even if we fumbled the bag. For what it's worth, I do think that Jidion wanted EDP to be caught, but I do think that Jidion decided that, hey, the content is gonna come first. When you involve content in these serious matters, sometimes you throw away your morals and your ethics because there is a viral video, a clip, or a banger to follow. Now, normally people would chalk this up to this being years ago, but that's not the case this time.
Because now what it's doing is giving people a reason to say something. Because now, like how I just said what I said, he just said the same thing. Like, people who actually, you know, already trying to tear you down are now going to use this against you to tear you down even more. It's, I don't know. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. And I'm saying, like, it's one of those situations right now.
Either. Literally last month, Jidion admitted that sometimes that content can get in front of my decision-making and judgment calls. And ultimately, the end result is worse than it had to be.
Where are you? Disorderly person. Out here yelling. Disorderly.
It was a good thing he acknowledged that, because, I'm not a friend. It's a good thing he acknowledged that, because, you know, not too many people realize that. Like, even how I talked to y'all about how, like, I was forcing content because, you know, I was still trying to, you know, go up and all that stuff. Like, what the heck? Whatever. Trying to go up in content, all that stuff. So, like, you know, sometimes you forget about your own well-being, like how you're actually really feeling doing this. So sometimes, like, you actually got to step away from this, like, you know, actually process what you're doing. But, you know what I'm saying?
It's worse than it had to be.
Where are you? Disorderly person.
I'm to realize that, you know, genuinely streaming makes me the worst me, you know.
I think that's a very insightful revelation about Jidion and how the impacts of streaming and streaming culture can make content creators push things to a different boundary. A conversation that I think a lot of streamers and content creators should be having to themselves. In that same conversation, Jidion talks about how seeing a chat say that a stream is boring or unentertaining can make him push things to a different level and go further than it needs to be. And I think that that's ultimately something that plagues a lot of streamers and content creators. Bear with me for a second. If you've ever noticed in any of the streamer clips or videos or moments that are going viral, you will see that they will do something, and then immediately after doing something outrageous or saying something outrageous, what is the first thing that they do? They go and they pick up their phone and they look at their phone for a second and they're quiet. The reason why they're quiet is because they are taking in.
They want to see if that reaction was good enough to get your attention. I ain't gonna lie, I do it too. I'd be a hypocrite to say I didn't do it too. Like, the clips, I ain't gonna lie. Clips are a streamer's best friend. No question about it, bro. So, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you might emphasize yourself a little bit. Sometimes, you know, you might say a lot more than you really need to, but at the same time, it comes with the job, because y'all want to be entertained. If we're not entertained, you won't click off. Like, you know what I'm saying? They do their best to, you know, keep you here as long as they can, because that makes some money. It runs up their numbers. You know what I'm saying? People, that's why they say real content is kind of dead, because it's like, a lot of people be faking their content, bro. Remember Roman Atwood and Vitaly, all them dudes, like, the adrenaline or, like, the crazy shit they be doing, that would make you come back and watch it every time. But sometimes all that crazy shit can be your biggest downfall. Like, Vitaly's in Russia in jail or something like that. Like, bro, sometimes you gotta remember real life content. You gotta defer that. And Tyler just brought it, talking about it's just content. Now everybody think everything's just content. Like, gang, bro, we gotta chill. Cause somebody gonna get hurt, bro. Somebody gonna get hurt, bro. People already getting hurt. We gotta stop this, bro. Money can do a lot of things, but safety, bro, it's getting bad.
In how chat is reacting to said moment. And further down the line, if you notice, they'll do one of two things. They'll see a chat that's positive and say, hey, this is the lane that I should continue to go down. Or they'll see a chat that's negative and they'll try to switch up. And normally their switch up is, let me push a little bit further. That's exactly what Jidion is suffering from, and what I think he's been suffering from for a long time. If you look at Jidion's prankster career, he has made a living and a name for himself, pushing the boundaries over and over and over and over.
Okay. The thing, see, I smile when I see them videos. Like, you know what I'm saying? With those videos, he was dead ass just not doing nothing for real, for real. It only got to a point, the moment I think he really took it that far as the Powerade. That whole operation was crazy. I ain't gonna lie. But, you know, everything else, going to Walmart, trolling people. You know, some people don't want to be bothered, you know what I'm saying? But, like, there were times he wasn't doing nothing and people would attack him. Like, and, like, as a viewer, you know what I'm saying? Even the dude in the beginning of the video, like, you know what I'm saying? Those are the best times of my life, bro. Just a Jidion video, bro, and you got some food with you, gang. The best 20, 30 minutes of your life, bro. And he don't do it no more. Because at the same time, people were losing their jobs because of him. So it's like, I don't know. Or he probably was exposed in the business too much. I don't know, bro. I'm going to be hypocritical because I did like them videos. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, oh, but he was just terrible. We all enjoyed Older Jidion, bro. I thought he was back for a second. I low-key thought, but...
And after a situation that got pushed to the extreme limits of somebody that he was pranking getting fired at Target, Jidion decided to turn down that whole lifestyle and turn to a Christian route. He wanted to ditch the prankster content and pick up a Bible. And I'm not questioning
like videos like this. Come on, bro. This is a classic, yeah. I remember I left my ass off to this video, bro. I told myself I was gonna do the same thing if I ever started a YouTube channel, or like started doing it for real. But I ain't have no cameraman. But like, he paved the way for a lot of content that you see nowadays. So you can't even sit here and say that you didn't like what he was doing, because some streamers and YouTubers have taken all the stuff he ever did and just changed it a little bit, bro. He low-key started a lot of trends. So we can't even say pretend like he didn't, bro.
He wanted to ditch the prankster content and pick up a Bible. And I'm not questioning that pathway that he went down. I think it's actually very admirable that he decided to put that lifestyle away. But ultimately, maybe it was due to chat. Maybe it was because there was this good thing in catching these people that text underage people that he thought was going to be good for him. The extreme content ultimately crept back into his life. Instead of messing with strangers, he decided that he was going to expose these people who are doing these heinous acts. And again, while that is admirable, there's still an element of confrontation, conflict, and other things that still calls for...
He's still not doing it the right way. That's the biggest problem. And it started since the beginning. He hasn't been doing it the right way because EDP should be in jail, bro. And the fact that he's not shows that Jidion wasn't really doing the right method, let alone the whole operation wasn't really structured to keep doing this. So now it's starting to look as if like content is the only thing that fuels him keep doing, like, because if he's not doing that, like, and he said he don't want to do the prankster content, there was nothing really else for him to do. Because I think he was doing all them Bible studies, and you know the guy, like, I think talks with pastors on the stream, like, you know what I'm saying? But I think after a while he stopped that, so I don't know, bro. I don't know.
or a push to be had. But ultimately, in the lane of the pred catching field, there are some levels of danger that are involved in it that I don't think Jidion or these other people really realize. You see, a prank video can get Jidion kicked out of a grocery store or, you know, a public facility or whatever the case may be. But a pred catch can involve way too many people on serious things and serious allegations. And if fumbled and not done properly, you can ultimately end up in a situation where you've done all this work. Maybe you've got the public embarrassment of it all, but ultimately you just have one more pred walking the streets, not necessarily facing the justice that they should be facing. So when Kayla's allegations came out right after Jidion himself admitted that content can make him push situations further, people started connecting the dots. The content changed, the intentions of it all changed, but people are really questioning whether Jidion's instincts to push the content further ever did change. And that's why Jidion can have a reasonable response to the things that he was involved in with the documentary and people still not want him back. For what it's worth, Jidion's response to the whole situation does clear up a lot of different things. He said that he would take over communication. He said that he didn't push her to the point of, you know, being the decoy. He didn't place this 15-year-old in front of EDP as a means to like use her as some sort of bait. And for what it's worth, I think that that context matters and it should be spoken about. So this isn't about saying Jidion secretly never changed or that his intentions with EDP were evil. That's not why people are turning on him. They're seeing a pattern. Jidion became famous by pushing situations further for content. He eventually tried leaving that behind through Christian.
There it is. There it is. There it is. He keeps pushing the limit to see how far he can take it, because that brings more views. And that's gotta stop.
Then pred catching gave him a reason to make extreme content again. And now we're seeing what happens when the same instincts exist in situations where the consequences are much, much more serious. Skeeter Jean can admit how the content of it all affected their confrontation and approach to EDP. Hell, Jidion wore a full-on cupcake outfit for the confrontation. If that's
it was fun. It was funny, but like, as you grow up and you really understand what's going on, it's like, I'm saying, and I think a lot of his fans are growing up, like we're getting older, so like, it's not like we're trying to be nitpicky, but at the same time, we're kind of starting to see and understand what's really going on, so.
It's not screaming content, then I don't know what is. The 15-year-old decoy, Kayla felt as if she was used by the whole process. And just weeks before the whole documentary release, Jidion admitted that entertaining an audience, reading that chat, can get him to do things that he would normally not ever do, put those morals and ethics away for the content that's supposed to live today. So maybe Jidion did genuinely learn and grow as a person, but now people are questioning whether he learned when that camera needs to be turned off.
Yo, what's good, YouTube?
She pretty much explained the whole story. I might go back and watch this on my own time to get a bit more of an understanding, but content. It's just content, they saying, but we gotta chill, bro. We gotta chill. That being said, though, appreciate y'all for watching, man. Catch up with the next one. Peace out.